Over the past couple of months, I've made a few videos on shamanism, a fascinating topic usually associated with the ancient indigenous cultures of the world. A spiritual practice where highly trained individuals commune with the spirit world through a symbolic death and rebirth for the purpose of healing or protection. But if someone's a black shaman, it could be for more sinister reasons. And shamanism has, in some form or another, been around for about 50,000 years. Now, it might surprise some, but there is a variation of shamanism in the Norse world, usually practiced by women, called Seidr. And the god of these shamanic practitioners was Odin, Lord of the Left-Hand Path. Odin's connection to shamanism is obvious when one considers his many travels to the underworld in search of answers from deities or the spirits of the dead. For example, Odin hanging from Yggdrasil is a form of shamanic ritual with his death and rebirth in order to gain knowledge. But the Northmen also had a distinctly male form of shamanism. These are the Berserkers. First mentioned in a poem commemorating a Viking victory fought in 872, Berserkers and Ulfenards were warrior shamans, infamous for their ecstatic battle frenzy. The difference between these two groups, Berserkers and Ulfenards, were their particular totem animals. Berserkers the bears, the Ulfenards the wolf. Otherwise, they shared a common set of shamanic practices. It was said that these lycanthropic warriors of Odin had the ability to be possessed by their totem animals, obtaining the raw strength and fury of the beast. Despite being fierce warriors, they were known to be very spiritual, for it was common for them to postpone certain scheduled fights until some religious celebration passed. Also, when their lives came to an end and they were prepared for their funerals, they were wrapped in the furs of bears or wolves. Instilling fear in the hearts of their enemies was the #1 weapon for the Berserkers. Before battle, they would perform outrageous mannerisms such as biting their shields, chattering their teeth, and foaming at the mouth. They would often enter the fray clad only in animal skins, howling and running amok with demonic fury. Armed with either spear, battle axe, or sword, Berserkers wreaked havoc not only on the ranks of their foes, but sometimes friends as well. But we only have a vague notion as to how they acquired this beast-like trance state. A common hypothesis as to the source of their behavior is that the Berserkers ingested a specific kind of psychoactive mushroom. However, the most probable explanation for going berserk may come from psychology instead of pharmacology. Psychologists believe that the spiritual rituals performed before battle, the drumming, dancing, and chanting, allowed them to go into a self-induced hysteria, which helped them to lose control. This put them into a dissociative state of mind, causing them to be motivated by their primal impulses, thus allowing the Berserkers to break free of social constructs which made them act more ruthless than any other warriors in history. This dissociative state caused by ritual shows some very real connections to shamanism as a whole. Mental transformation during initiation and trance allows the shaman to interact with the invisible forces, the ancestors, and obviously in the case of the Berserkers and Ulfenars, the spirits of animals. This is in some ways also reminiscent of the Native American skinwalkers. According to legend, Navajo shamans would sometimes use their powers for evil, walking freely among the tribe during the day, but secretly transforming into beasts under the cover of night. But before they could transform into a skinwalker, he or she must be initiated by performing the most evil of deeds, the killing of a close family member, most likely a sibling. After this task had been completed, the individual then acquired supernatural powers which gave them the ability to shapeshift into animals. The Berserkers and Ulfenards served many kings over the years, their overly aggressive nature earning them a place at the vanguard of the forces of the Northmen. In their wrathful state, they would break through the enemy lines, thus allowing the regular warriors to then charge through. The Berserker's lack of helmet and chainmail was in itself a good psychological weapon, naturally instilling fear in the opposing forces by showing a disregard for their own personal safety. In addition, the bare body may have symbolized a sense of invulnerability, thus displaying honor to Odin by dedicating their lives and bodies to the battle. In 1066, at the end of the Viking era, at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, it is suggested that a berserker fought for the Norwegian king Harald Hardrada against the English. Standing alone on the narrow bridge with a battle axe, he was unstoppable as he slaughtered those English that dared to challenge him. This carried on until an English warrior on a boat beneath the bridge thrust his spear upwards into the berserker's groin, killing him. But when it comes to the truth behind berserkers in history, there is written evidence, but little archaeological evidence. It's true that with their wild reputations, they may come across as more mythological than real, the legend of the noble savage, if you will. The fact is, apart from their wildness and lack of armor, they are unlikely to seem much different than any other Viking warriors. But to you doubters, like I said, the written evidence is there. Also, animal furs, unlike armor, tend not to leave much archaeological evidence. In conclusion, because of their chaotic rages, berserkers often face isolation from their communities. But to Odin, they were honored warriors, securing themselves a place in Valhalla, thus ensuring they would fight for him at the Battle of Ragnarok. We, on the sinister path, also face being ostracized by our communities and will someday face our own Ragnarok. But like the Berserkers, we have Odin on our side. Until next time.